Sometimes metaphors hold true, right? Can't do nothing about that. We have all heard the old adage, alone in a crowd, suffering in silence, regardless of surrounding noise, no matter how loud. Well, thus is the story of Marry and Rage, and the backdrop to how we shall set the stage. Loneliness was not always the case for these two. It took quite some time for these metaphors to hold true. To the world, separately, they lit up any room they walked inside of. Together, the light was as blinding as the sun above. They knew how to work a room as if time depended on it, moving from conversation to conversation, rarely having time to sit. Even when their personal relationship was in turmoil, you couldn't see with the naked eye that their union was about to come to a boil. Smiling, laughing, even hugging and kissing until their guests had left, separating to separate rooms when festivities ended and as quiet as kept. Two sides of the same coin revealed a very different view. Marry and Rage just couldn't get on the same page. Even when Marry was fully engaged and blessed in the house with Sage, their agreements went from many to very few. Rage felt that he had put himself in somewhat of a control cage, putting him in a position of having to act an older age than his actual age. Marry felt quite contrary to where Rage's thoughts seemed to carry, and second questioned time and time again why exactly this is whom she chose to marry. But in her mind, she made a grave mistake and became a victim, which shut off her ability to ever learn from or, at the very least, listen to him. She began to wonder why his name had to represent his action that she did not sanction. And so her walls were rebuilt and her love only given a fraction. So one fateful day, she came to speak to him and put all cards on the table. Little did she know, he had an opinion on her one-sided fable. Oh yeah? Is that how you feel? All right, well, can I speak first? All right, cool. All right. Listen, mama, my goal was always to educate. Make it simple so you wouldn't speculate. Keep it simple, stupid. The KISS model, whether it's single life, marriage, or me alone raising a kid. Cross the bridge as you come to it. Not raise hell, but every negative outcome that could transpire from it. Just seems utterly ridiculous to dwell on assumption. See your heart and mind become engulfed and prepare for the worst, spiritual consumption. Because when heart and mind are in deterrence, it affects the spirit 1,000%. As imaginative negative perspectives are the pipeline to your fucking descent. For it is rarely the actual task at hand that's actually at the height of what your despair actually demands. Rather, I call it selective faith you empower. Because to your spoken faith, you actually cower. You actually say you believe he has the answers to all things. Then question how the notes in that particular song sings. That's fucking amazing. Like, simply amazing. So it only works when it works for you. Grand design is setting conceit according to you. I mean, you ever notice how negative shit keeps fucking happening to you? Look right now. When you came to speak to me, the last thing you thought was that I may have my own fucking view. I just opened my mind to possibility. Under current circumstances, most would view it as a feat of fucking incredibility. Because a positive spin, a full-on grin, would make you think I don't recognize the bullshit I'm in. But behold the wizard behind the green curtain is a man who knows more than you his reality for certain. I'm full-on in it. Because only I truly live it. And yes, the other side is filled with emotional tidbits of one-sided hypothetical bullshit on the reason I called it quits. The facts are facts when speaking from my perspective. And denial minimal when time has passed for you to see it from my perspective. I mean, I wrote it in rhyme, time after time. I analyze while you posterize. I see not only your, but my discrepancies, my tendencies on silly dependencies. Like, at the end of the day, my mom would truly be the only woman who has my back. Retorts. But ask any man on dry land if when push comes to shove that's not where his mind resorts. Safe haven to where your battle cries cannot cross. And you will find that same man stand proud for what you consider a loss. Because yes, the apple does not fall far from the tree, the old conundrum. But the apple has the advantage of seeing where it truly came from. Able to dissect the stump, trunk, and ultimately the branch from which it hit earth. And break down the history of its birth. I was not a mistake in the father of happenstance. I was bred to overcome adversity and circumstance. I'm all in it, too self-conscious to quit it. I analyze my entire existence, try to break down every poignant experience, feed it to paper so I can remember that I ain't just here for charm and appearance. Break down my plight so I may have better sight. Be a sponge is what I was taught. Absorb all emotions, knowledge, experiences that can be forth brought. It's not the opposite. is what plagues other men, to be stubborn and never bend. So I see the default in that way of thinking and I'm crucified. Simply put, God has the plan. So when you crucify my positive energy, understand it's because I put it in his hands. How now, brown cow? Your actions have made me fucking raise a brow. You speak of my reactions towards things I don't like, but you steady do things that make me grab my coat and white on white Nikes. My reactions off of your actions that I did not sanction bump me off my goals only to cause turmoil and fucking distractions. Your feelings I must pay heed to, but you aggravate me when there's fucking no need to. The details I can't really give up in this composition when I feel the need to replace the 3 words I love you with play your position. For mistakes made, you must take them as your own, instead of knowing you're wrong and still proceed to raise your tone. The shit that don't work on me may have worked for some, but I'm experienced in this realm and I'm far from done. Doing things to stretch out an argument far past its original source. And mama, who would have known that New Day would have represented divorce? As much obtained wisdom gathered throughout my journey, it seemed I just could not stay the course. We said for better or for worse, but didn't want to stay in a situation we had to force. And when it came to the blame game, the problems always came from the other source. So new day, new way to rejuvenate the here and today for what happened yesterday. The in-the-mirror optimistic approach I've always tried to never keep at bay. It would have to be how I venture over to my next quest. No longer with a saddened heart and puffed out bare chest. Squared away shoulders is ultimately how I press on with my backpack of boulders. I finally see what I want to get out of my rocks of life. And I finally answered the question, single life versus husband and wife. No longer caught in the matrix, minus guns and leathery latex. As I stated before, I don't want either. Single life versus swallowing love's poisonous ether. I just want someone to look at my eyes and see clear as rain that I understand. Better than most, love's unwavering and unfair demands. So here I stand. No longer the law's confused child, but a secure, dignified, responsible man. And I will never say this because I don't love you, but just of the bullshit, I'm just not a fan. But Marri, it seems too much I've spoken. You may now convey to me why you feel your heart is broken. Good. It's your turn. Talk. All right. You know what I mean? You're not living by yourself. You know, this is like shared community. Shared community love. Oh, my goodness.